Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it, guys. And of course we had the patch today, so I wanted to talk a little bit about things that you might have missed on patch day. First things first, just a small disclaimer, guys. I might have covered some of the other things in other videos, or I will cover some of the things in other videos as well. Why? Because there are some things that people are not paying attention to much that I think deserve one whole video, like the improvements to radars, for example. It's something that is completely different right now from what it was. A lot of people are wondering how it is. Or, for example, the new sensor thing on the replays, you know, the tech view thing, or things like that, basically, right? They deserve a whole video about it, you know, a short whole video about it. So I'm gonna talk about little things that not a lot of people care about, but it's always something interesting. Of course, when the data mines come, I can actually try to do kinda something similar, but with the data mines as well. But for now, let's go with it. So the first thing is that apparently the KF-41 received 2 extra spike missiles. If I'm not mistaken, it was only 2 that he used before. If it was already 4, my mistake, but I'm pretty sure it was only 2 before, and now it's 4. So it really does help a little, just a little bit actually, because the spike is kind of a weird missile, to be honest, in game. Sometimes it doesn't kill in one shot. But yeah, then we go for the US over here. The US has an interesting thing that probably you guys that play with US will not like too much. Remember that buff that was in the dev server about the armor of the Abrams, that the Arat ERA was improved to like 400 millimeters depending on the situation. So yeah, not really different from what it was. Depending on the angle that you shoot here, yeah, sure, but it's more due to the styles over here than anything else. But still, it is not the 600 to 400 millimeters of penetration that it had before. Now it's between 250 and 300, basically 230, depending on where you shoot on this particular version. So the buff that we saw from this angle on the ERA for the Abrams wasn't really added to the live server, okay? The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the new fuel tank. So there's a lot of aircraft that received external fuel tanks or more external fuel tanks. So for example, the Su-25, all the Su-25s, they received the ability to carry 2 extra external fuel tanks from before, right? So it used to only be able to carry 2, now it can carry 4. And in the outer pylons, which helps a little bit because of course the inner pylons are normally the strongest and it can take the most like heavy payload, so it means that it takes the better missiles. Other aircraft that you will see that as well is the Su-22s, Su-17s, all the defensors basically, right? They all received external fuel tanks on the wings as well, so it does help a little bit, not by much, but it does help a little bit. One aircraft that I think it's very interesting to see with external fuel tanks is all of the MiG-21s. I mentioned that in the first video of today, but yeah, all the MiG-21s in the game, and J7s, etc., they all got external fuel tanks, as you can see. Some of them only there, and the stronger ones, like for example the Beast, can actually take 3 of them. So yeah, on the wings there as well. Not that it's the most useful thing ever. MiG-21s never really suffered in the game with a lot of fuel problems. And remember, in for example the aircraft that receives and uses the SPS-141 pod, you will need to choose between the fuel tank and the flares, right? So if you take the fuel tank, you will not be able to take the flares, if I'm not mistaken. Some of them might be bugged still. Yeah, this one is bugged, for example, but they are fixing these bugs. The Hungarian one was already fixed. But yeah, you will not be able to take the middle fuel tank together with the flares if the aircraft uses the SPS-141 pod. Another aircraft that got new fuel tanks was the F-16. So yeah, nothing too crazy, just more of the already existing fuel tanks. So as you see over here, way cooler. Of course, now you can take the external fuel tanks and then the missiles as well, and use the normal payload that the majority of the F-16s use in photos that we see, right? Another aircraft that got the external fuel tanks, yes, the F-14. I mentioned that in the dev server version of this video that I'm doing, but yeah, external fuel tanks were added to the F-14, which helps a lot, especially the A variant, I think, in my opinion, right? Another aircraft that got more external fuel tanks, I mean, you already had ones, but now you can take 3 of them as well. I know it's a lot of fuel tanks, but it's just it's cool to see. So yeah, the Gripen there. And then, of course, I think the main aircraft, the most interesting one that got finally its fuel tanks is the Draken. So yeah, the Draken got external fuel tanks. Of course, you have to use pylons that are normally used for missiles, but in certain Drakens it might be helpful. Okay, guys. Another thing is that the Harrier GR7, the Harrier that you are seeing over here, they got the AGM-65G. Not only that, the F-16 as well got the AGM-65G. So the F-16C, of course, as you see over here. I'm gonna buy it just to show to you guys a little bit, and then we are going to take only 2. That's the thing. Apparently this missile, since it's a lot heavier than the other AGM, you can only take 2 of them and not 6 of them. And even in real life, I don't think they ever use triple users like this, only 2 of them, because there were some damages to the aircraft itself that happened. So yeah, it's something that is realistic. So yeah, let's test this missile out. Just to show to you guys, this is the version that has this the semi-armor piercing HE shell, or warhead, right? So it's a bit different the way that it kills targets. So let's take off and I will show to you guys. So while we take off, I'm gonna show to you something that was introduced to many aircraft as well. As you see, automatic flares, flaps. So yeah, it doesn't let you like get the flaps down, as you see, if it's not safe to actually lower the flaps. This is added to many aircraft, including the F-14s, the F-5E, the F-16s, the F-4s, the MiG-21s, MiG-23s, MiG-27s, Harriers, and many other aircraft, including some props, okay? So now you have the same principle of flap usage as the Vegan, for example, that had basically a system where you had to basically just be in a certain speed to be able, even if you clicked, to be able to actually use the flaps, right? Another thing that was added was that for TV guided weaponry, you can actually aim on a third person, as you see. It has a new aiming reticle, as you see over there, and it will try to find a target in that region that you know locked. For example, we locked here, and then you can fire the missile. And here it is, the AGM-65G. Of course, it will kill that one. I'm gonna show it to you again, guys. Yeah, very easy kill. But yeah, again, you just have to click once to actually launch the missile before you launch it, and it will warm it up. So let me just do this. So for example here, and then you click again where you see the target, and it will try to find a target. It found the T-55, and then you launch it. So you click basically 3 times to actually launch the TV guided missile. This works for any TV guided missile, okay? And as you see, AGM-65G has a lot less warhead power after penetration, you know, because it's a semi-armor piercing, of course, right? So it's a little bit different. Another thing that was changed was the fly model of the Javelin. Now it is a little bit more nimble, guys. The handling, especially with the usage of flaps, should be a little bit better. I'm gonna get a little bit more speed to try it out if I can feel it. It feels a little bit lighter, but not by much, I gotta say. It still is kinda weird. And as you see, it doesn't turn very well. Very similar from before. Let's see the flaps. I mean, yeah, with the flaps. So yeah, I don't know, it might be able to turn a little bit more, but the changes are not really big, I don't think. It's been a while since I've flown the Javelin, so if you are a Javelin fan, go out there and test it out before you believe my, insights on it, because I really, honestly, it's been like years since I've flown this thing. Not years, but like at least 6 months. So I don't know exactly how it was feeling, but yeah, it does feel a little bit lighter. But yes, besides that, for me, it doesn't change much. Okay. Which means out there, yes, a very good thing about the Leclerc, guys. Let's see if you can actually find out what is different in the Leclerc. Something that will really help you get kills quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yes, guys, the Leclerc, all of them have a 5-second reload time now. So yeah, 12 seconds per 12 shots per minute, which is basically translating to 5 seconds of a autoloader reload. This should be increasing the effectiveness of this tank, and I cannot wait to actually research the whole tech tree of Leclerc's, just because of this, because it really, I love autoloaders, I really do, and this just really helps this tank out. So very cool for you French mains. There are some other interesting things, like for example air spawns. I will put a gameplay on the screen right now, where they actually added to the Golan Heights map an air spawn for top tiers, you know, kind of situation there. I think they are testing it out, how it would be for Fox 3 missiles to be added like that. I don't doubt that we will see something similar to this in a new test for Fox 3s in the future, because I honestly love it. Yeah, you can complain, I don't care. I honestly love it. Why? Because a lot of people are starting to fly high because we are spawning high. So yeah, it makes for a more BVR-ish kind of gameplay. Maybe it's not for everybody, but I do love it. Another thing that they changed was the inclusion of tutorials. So if you have any doubts how to use a certain weaponry system or anything like that, any type of weapon that you don't know, air to ground or air to air, you just go to the weapons in the vehicle that you are, and you will click to test it out, basically, and it will give you a proper tutorial. Okay, I already showed that a little bit on the dev server, but it is something that really helps the player around. You know, it's something very basic, and of course it's something that not a lot of people know sometimes. So yeah, for example, here it's just showing me how to actually, I mean, it explains a little bit how it's guided and everything like that, and then you just need to basically follow the directions that basically they are giving, right? I restarted it out of nowhere. What happened? Jesus, I clicked space, I think. Let's try again. There. Come on. And then target was not hit. I clicked the button. Jesus Christ. Hold up. I'm clicking the wrong button probably. Switch TV camera. So it's basically yeah, it's showing everything to me basically, right? After launching the missile, the transmission of the image of the carrier stops and the missile is guided to the target independently. So yeah, very cool. And yeah, basically it will show to you guys how to properly hit targets, to use any type of weapon, if it's air to air or not. I was clicking the wrong button, by the way, there, so my mistake, of course. There are some other minor things that it's always nice to talk about. For example, the J8F got 80 countermeasures, not the 60, which I think it was before. The Magics and of course the Phoenixes, they got a very big buff on their performance. I will do a whole video about the Magic, I think, specifically because it's a completely different missile. It really is. Raiders are a lot better, as I said, but I will do a video talking about Raiders later. The M60 120S, it's nothing too big, but It's something that I think it's necessary to talk about a little bit because it's very interesting. So not only this thing has the M829A1, which is an 11.3 basically ammunition, but you also have a second generation thermal system for this tank. So I'm actually excited to use this thing. I don't know if I'm gonna do a video about this because people don't seem to care too much, but yeah, look at this. Second gen thermal systems in an M60 that has like a turret from an M1A1. So very, very good, right? Of course, the last thing is, of course, the fuel slider. Of course, it's a big thing. A lot of people are talking about it. But just to make sure that everybody knows, now you have an adjustable fuel quantity, okay? So now you can basically just swing around between the minimum and the maximum by percentage, of course, of how many minutes or how much fuel you actually want to take, okay? So this is very good for some aircraft that don't quite fit in the 10, 20, 30 minute normal like parameters that we have in the game. So if you want to take 17 minutes of fuel or 21 minutes of fuel, because that's the sweet spot for your aircraft, take it and you can do whatever you want. So these are the things that I think are the most interesting ones. There's a lot of other things, but of course I'm gonna leave it for other videos. As I said, these are the things that I wouldn't include in a whole video about, because they are too small to be a whole video about those things, right? So yeah, these are the little changes that I think a lot of people don't know about. Of course, I will do another one when the data mines come, but more focused on the data mines if there is anything interesting there. Okay, guys? See you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, click the like button, and I see you guys